Vlogmas, day 23, 11/21. It is the night before Christmas. And all through the house, not a creature was stirring, except for me, the grumpy guide to all things gaming, the toxic gatekeeper, the man with no plan. And today I want to talk about RPG culture in general. And I think one thing that I've talked about before, and one thing that I probably will continue to talk about, is I think we have created a culture of I want whatever I want, when I want it, and I don't give a damn about your story. We've created a culture of gaming because of this give the players whatever they want mentality that dungeon masters aren't respected anymore. And the amount of work dungeon masters put into creating their worlds and their games and their scenarios aren't respected anymore. Players just seem to complain no matter what you give them. Even if you ask them, what do you want? What do you want to see? Give me 5 things you want in the game. I will put them in the game. They complain. I ran a game this year, and people had been complaining that my previous games were too silly. So I boiled everything down. I came up with a pretty consistent, serious, you do things, you get rewards. I had that video game quest giver mentality going forward. I understand that was fun, but it was very serious. There was consequences for your actions. I let it know that, there's consequences for the actions. If you kill NPCs, there's going to be consequences. If you break a magic item, there's going to be consequences. If you try and do too much and spread your character too thin and try and be a warlock, healer, two-handed sword-wielding barbarian, sorcerer, sandwich-making rockstar, there's going to be consequences. And I said, this is what you guys want, a serious game. I'm going to run a serious game. There's going to be, and people complained it was too serious. So I took a break, started over, said, we agreed I was going to run a game and I ran it, and it was much more of what I'm used to, much more, typical D&D, beginning, middle, end, go in, do this, come back, this leads to something else, go in, do this, come back, this leads to something else, go in, do this, come back, this leads to something else. All the while there was rewards and NPCs helping them, and it was very, very linear, very, very, no matter what choices you made, everything pretty much led to where I wanted them to go. So even if they didn't go where I wanted them to go, just move the thing so that no matter what they did, they were ending up where I wanted them to go. And they complained it was too silly, that it was too, wasn't serious enough. And I am not the only DM that has experienced it. I have a friend who's a DM who has, repeatedly run games and said, okay, what do you guys want? And then, okay, this is what I'm going to run. These are the house rules. This is what I'm allowing. This is what I'm not allowing. And people just constantly complained. And then, he would run different things. He would run, hacked things, normal things, whatever. And people, no matter what he ran, people would complain because it wasn't what they wanted. They weren't getting everything they wanted all at once, all the time, and being able to do everything and being able to play everything. And just, no matter what he did, the players weren't happy. And I know another GM who's, gone through the same thing, who ran the same game for going on a year now. And he was very permissive about what he allowed. He pretty much allowed everything. If it was printed out, he was letting it. There was artifactors in his game and stuff, and and people would just basically shit all over his game week and week after week after week. And he'd allow them to have whatever they want, do whatever he want. He pretty much never said no, and his players still complain. Why is this? Why? How have we created this culture where, it is basically just, what's the point of having dungeon masters? What's the point of me creating worlds and games and stuff if I just know going in people are just not going to take me seriously, not respect me, and just treat me, and not respect the game. And I'm not the only DM that is experiencing this. And I know it is a common complaint because game store owners and game stores employees have talked to me about their DMs complaining that their players disrespect them, and that nobody really understands anymore or respects how much work DMs do. We've just created this culture over the past couple years of player agency, give the players whatever they want, and the players are just going, me, give me, I want, give me. I don't, if I don't get what I want, exactly what I want, when I want it, I'm gonna complain. I have these expectations, and I want my expectations met, and I want to be able to do everything that I saw in the video game. I want to be able to do everything that I saw on Critical Role. I want to do everything that I saw in this module and this other group playing, but I also want to be able to do everything that I want to do, have every class, every race, every magic ability right now. And if you don't give it to me, I'm going to have a tantrum. So how did we create this culture? And how do we get rid of it? Or am I wrong? Maybe I just suck as a DM, and all the DMs I know who have talked about this with me are just really crappy DMs. I don't know. Maybe, there are DMs out there who can handle this and be like, no, fuck you. This is what's going to happen if you don't like it. Whatever. And people are like, oh. In the old days, people would sit down and run an adventure, and it didn't matter what it was. People were just happy to play. And like, oh, you have these house rules where I can't be a tiefling in your world? Okay, I'm happy with that. I'll just play a human fighter. Oh, you don't have artifactors in your world? Okay, that's fine. I don't need to be an artifactor. I'm happy with whatever. I'm just happy to play. But now it's like, what? You don't have artifactors? Screw you. I don't want to play in your game if I can't be a tiefling, artifactor, warlock, cleric, sorcerer who can wield a two-handed sword and a gun and does 5d6 at first, and I want all that at first level. Fuck your game. I'm just gonna shit all over it then. I'm just show up every week and shit all over your game. Because I can't have what I want when I want, exactly the way I want it. How do we change this? Because if we just tell people no, if we just tell people then don't play, eventually we're just not going to have anybody playing. So I don't know. Think about it. I'll talk to your losers later.